Hello. This video is about moving on after abuse, a life of abuse, a life of childhood abuse, and then relationship abuse. It's about where to pick up, how to pick up. This is a letter from a woman who we'll call Lily for these purposes. She says, I'm 29, 30 in 7 days, and have had quite a challenging life so far. Currently feeling rather lost and not entirely sure what to do with my life. Abusive father, bullied in school. My brother was diagnosed with schizophrenia when I was 11. My sister committed suicide when I was 17. She was 19. I then ended up in a really abusive relationship for 8 years, which ended when my first and only child was born. I didn't want her growing up in such an environment. But for the next 2 years, he continued to control and torture me with death threats, suicide threats, and constant abuse. So I decided to leave and moved to get away from him. That was nearly 2 years ago, and I still feel a bit lost. Having to create a new life as a single mom, not many friends, no money, complete new start, which felt like my old patterns and cycles were being torn down. It has been enlightening and empowering, but also exhausting and frustrating. Wow, yes. I started a business selling affirmation cards, but haven't had much success from that. I seem to attract relationships that always end with me wanting more. I met someone a few months back, and it felt like a truly spiritual and connected experience, but he wasn't ready for anything meaningful. And once again, I'm left feeling unwanted and like nothing seems to align or work for me. I'm constantly working on my personal growth. I know that the universe probably wants me to be alone so that I can fully grow. But at times, I could really do with some love, care, and support. I would love to know whether the business I have started will take me very far, whether it's worth pursuing, and also whether there is any love in my future and anything else that you may pick up on. To add to that, I get incredibly low and anxious and very little energy and motivation for things. Not all the time, but my mood fluctuates a lot, which is really frustrating. I feel like I get past something, heal and learn, and then there's another challenge or another dip in my mood, which stops me in my tracks. I just want some balance and peace, really, for the racing thoughts to slow, and for my life to have more purpose and meaning, and ideally to fall in love and start my life in a more positive direction. I know I am over most of the big hurdles my life presented. Now I just need to know the direction I should take. Well, thank you for being brave and, gosh, being on this path of awakening and empowerment and taking care of your daughter. You know, having children is really strong motivation, and congratulations that you took the steps to move on, to know what you deserve, to leave that life of abuse behind and start a new one. There is so much in this letter, and I'm going to tune in for a minute and see where to start in giving you some love. You're asking for love and support. Well, here's some love and support. So much love and support to you, and to all the people like you on this planet right now who have had to go through that or are still going through that. I'm feeling like I should talk about your father first. Seems the abuse started there, and it wasn't just you, it was your siblings involved as well. Obviously, it affected them horribly as well, from schizophrenia to suicide, and the depression, anxiety, and abusive patterns that you have now. What a horrible thing to live through. I'm so sorry you lived through that. I don't know where he is in your life right now, or what you've done to complete the relationship with him. And I'm sure you've done this already. There are first patterns and relationship cords that you're going to want to focus on cutting away from you. that have to do with that initial pattern and that initial imprint of relationship with the archetype of father and your ideas about that. One thing I would recommend is journaling, writing down a father is, and then doing some free writing with that. See what comes through. So free writing is just setting a timer for 10-15 minutes and writing without stopping to write. Even if you end up writing the same thing over and over again until something new comes, just getting all that stuff out of your unconscious. My father is, or not my father is, sorry, father, the archetype of father. What is the schema of father that you have in your mind? Because that's, of course, being generalized to all men and being generalized and disrupting any ability to have a healthy relationship with someone in your life. So try that as a first practice, just in order to get some of that out of the unconscious mind. And when you're done with that, tune in for yourself. Make a little card, make a little post-it note, put it on the table, and write Cosmic Father on that. Just put it on the table. Let that be your symbolic anchor for Cosmic Father. Now this represents everything benevolent and good that there is about masculinity and fatherhood in particular. And I invite you to build a little altar around that, put some crystals around that, and start really pulling that energy in to yourself through that altar. Sit with that daily. Feel what it means. Positive masculinity, positive fatherhood, and really replace that earthly abusive fatherhood experience with a divine aligned cosmic fatherhood that can really support and love you and guide you on your path and set you onto a completely different trajectory. Of course, fatherhood, a lot of people talk about that relationship also having a lot to do with abundance, with being able to support yourself, feel supported, and that's emotionally, physically, the things that we have in our life, where we have enough flow of food and shelter and resources to get everything that we need in order to thrive in this world. So that's some work that you can do around father. Once you've set that up, I would encourage you to also do that work around mother. There's no talk about mother here, but the mother in your life also has that imprinted, and I'm assuming she suffered abuse as well, and that is your imprint of femininity and motherhood, in fact. So on those deep unconscious levels. Again, doing the free writing on what is mother, getting that out of your unconscious, and then creating that cosmic mother altar next to the cosmic father altar. Bringing that energy of cosmic mother, cosmic father into your life really, really powerfully. Work with that on a regular basis. It'll come to fruition. There's some other things that are coming through that I will add here. You said about a spiritual connection, a relationship, where he wasn't ready to be for anything meaningful. So he wasn't ready is a big statement with very non-specific things. So what I interpret from that is that you had a set of expectations and he had a set of expectations that didn't quite match. And in addition to that, anything meaningful, when you say meaningful, it's a schema. It's again, something amorphous and big that's not specific. So I want to encourage you to get really specific about meaningful, because I think that based on what you said, there are meaningful aspects to that relationship and places where it does support you, but it's not fulfilling some kind of idealization of what relationship should or needs to look like. So it's not fulfilling expectations in that regard. But maybe it's beautiful and exactly what you need at this time. Maybe living mostly separate lives and seeing each other once a week, dating really slowly, casually, even if it's sexual, even if there's lovemaking involved. It's okay not to fall madly in love with somebody right away. It's okay to have a very slowly evolving relationship over time where both people can overcome their wounding in the relationship, because he doesn't come whole to this relationship. And so both of you can work on that slowly together. It doesn't mean the universe wants you to be alone, but you did receive a gift in the form of this relationship. But it's possible, I'm tuning into this, it's possible. I never like to draw 100% conclusions from intuition. I like to leave it open to you also to see that there's a beautiful gift there, and not to throw it out, not to throw out the baby with the bathwater, as it were. Receive the gift that's being offered rather than insist on a gift that you think should be given. You're most likely being given exactly what you need. In terms of the business that you asked for, tune into that. You're in a positive business growth direction. There's other opportunities, avenues for you. The skills that you learn, like you're doing some work with affirmation cards. That's all I know. I don't know any other of the details, but I can see an excitement in that for you. There's an excitement in the publishing world. There's an excitement in connecting to people. There is an excitement in interactions. You're a real connector of people. And so there's something that there's things that you can do with those affirmation cards rather than just sell affirmation cards. One example, a wild example is, I think you're British, hen parties. So, you can do some really cool things with hen parties and affirmation cards and, setting intentions for people. I would take that to the next level. Go with it, flow with it, have fun with it, see what you can do, Go on your Facebook page, make some lives, pull an affirmation card every day, tell people what your positive affirmation is. Don't just do it for yourself. And for all I know, you're doing this, but just keep going, and expand, be really open, be really tuned into the opportunities that present themselves. And just like the love relationship, receive the opportunity that's going to be given to you rather than looking for opportunities that you think need to be there. When our intuition directs us, it'll often tell us, go straight on this street. Now maybe you can see 10 miles down that street and you think, okay, go straight on the street means go all the way to the end of that street. But 2 blocks in, it's like, okay, no, hey, look, there's an opportunity off to your right. There's something there that's catching your attention. But if you keep thinking, no, I have to go straight, my intuition told me to go straight to the end of this road, then you're going to miss out on what your intuition was actually trying to show you, but you didn't have the intellectual capacity to hear it at that time, because you couldn't hear, okay, go straight and then in 2 blocks turn right. That's really detailed information from your intuition. So always be checking in. Okay, what is my intuition saying right now? Maybe it told me to go straight before, but now that's telling me to slow down and turn right. So that's my advice about the business and about love, about life in general, of course. So much love to you on your beautiful journey. Real respect for taking this into your own hands and making these life changes. There's so many in that situation that you can inspire, and maybe that's part of your work in this world, to inspire and support other people to escape and heal from wounded pasts. Of course, part of overcoming wounded past is helping others. So with these affirmation cards that you have, with the love relationships that you can take slowly, really look for those places where you can help others in huge ways. Don't worry about making money from it. Create value and the money will follow. And that's really something I learned from Google, of all places, when I was reading about their company. So they said, they do all these moonshots, so they spend billions on experiments on technologies that could improve the world, and they say create value is their mission, and the money will follow. And it's the same for all of us. Create value and the money will follow. Love you, and feel free to write me back, comment, ask questions. See you soon.